So I thought I'd do a random podcast just now, just to kind of talk about various things that are going on in my life or my future plans and who I am and what I do and how I got to be in this position doing what I do now. I don't really know how to describe what I do like so well, or not in so many words. I'm a physicist and a cosmologist, self-declared. I think, yeah. Um, I don't have a degree in physics. I don't have a degree in or a PhD in physics or anything like that. I don't have a degree at all, actually. I want to get a degree in physics, but I don't have enough student finance now to be able to study a physics degree. And there's all boring reasons why I haven't done that. But I'm trying to become a sort of public intellectual figure in physics and cosmology, if you want to think of it in those sorts of terms. Since that's the only option that's really been left over to me. Um, this is what Michael Faraday did. He was very much a public intellectual physicist, and he didn't have a degree in physics. He was a great experimental physicist of his day, but nonetheless, he was, unqualified. He ended up becoming president of the Royal Society, but that's somewhat beside the point. Well, it's not beside the point. It's the essence of the point. It's exactly wrong, But I think about this stuff all the time, all the time, all the time. I always have. I don't really remember a time when I wasn't interested in the universe, nature, how it all operated. I don't remember not being interested in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Although I hated maths and still hate maths, frankly. And yeah, I don't. It's even algebra foxes me a lot of the time. The reason being is because the order of operations, I misinterpreted that when I was taught it first time at school. I got it completely wrong and actually had no maths teachers helping me at all. But that's a separate bitch for another day, isn't it? I was at some point put down into a lower set 3 out of 5. So I was in the set of people with middling ability in maths, and that's where I remained until I did my GCSE. And I would have liked to have done better in maths, but I was just kind of lost in this maze of people who were just, average mathematicians. And I thought, well, I wasn't comfortable there anyway. I wanted to be in a higher set, but I just all sorts of reasons to do with my personal life, my home life, upbringing, and so on. Very difficult time I was having at home. Also, a very difficult time at school, but it's all connected to personal matters, family issues, mental health matters, even back then. And, I didn't fulfill what I think people expected my potential was, which was to be a straight A student, possibly. And a lot of people do manage to get some really good grades and so on. Like my sister did, she got excellent grades since she wasn't suffering in the same way that I was suffering, should we say. But yeah, I don't know. It's yeah, it's a very difficult time. It's what I had growing up. That's why I'm in a homeless shelter now, I think, more like. But I know a lot about what I'm talking about, I think. I research it all the time. I'm constantly reading research in physics and textbooks and books and really trying to always increase my knowledge and use online resources, online lectures, things like that. Those are really useful. And I've made physics and cosmology a huge part of my life. So I think I'm entitled to an opinion on it. That's basically, yeah, how I think. I think I'm well versed enough in the current state of our knowledge to be able to offer up original ideas. And I really do think it does go back to my childhood and having, been able to cultivate interests back then in topics such as these. And, prior to the age of about 10, my childhood was very good. It was fantastic. Before my parents got divorced, and that led to all sorts of nastiness and problems, and people taking it out often on myself, and taking out the difficulties in their own situation on me, and that's when all the horror began in my life, about 10 years old. So prior to then, I was having like sciencey gifts, sciencey toys. I was big into it. I was so very, very that way inclined. I was thinking about, oh, maybe I could be an engineer. Maybe I could, and that's like the other side of what I do now with engineering. I design, well, I'm an inventor, and I've invented fusion engines and fusion devices capable of working in space. So that's another part of what I do, which obviously connects to physics. But yeah, I grew up on a farm also, and that was that's a really great childhood to have, I think, in a general sense, but particularly if you want to grow up to be a scientist. Growing up on a farm is a very, very scientific childhood, I think. It's well, agriculture is a science, for one thing. Then there's all sorts of associated sciences, might go into life sciences, ecology, whatnot, physics, engineering, obviously, because tractors and things. And, there's a hell of a lot of scientific knowledge that you glean growing up on the farm, or you end up being well versed in one way or another, regardless. So yeah, that was good, great childhood. And yes, sciencey toys, science books around, also things on like books on machinery, lots of things like manuals of different agricultural machines, and just like being around all that stuff. I think that's given me great physical intuition, or rather acute and well-developed scientific intuition, I think, more like. And it's made me into very much a STEM type person, that upbringing. But yeah, it's just being separated from that, because I was always pushed away from it. I don't know why I was pushed away from farming. I'd love to have been a farmer. And I was sort of taking a weird, different path. I don't know what my father expected from me exactly. But, maybe writing and speaking has something to do with it, lecturing and doing all that sort of thing. Don't know, but I wouldn't have traded my childhood for anything, even the difficult bits, or especially the difficult bits. Maybe it turned me into the sort of person I am now, where I am very resilient, I am very tenacious and hardworking, and those things. I have a sense of humour about life. I'm curious still. Generally speaking, I'm happy with who I am in life. I think that's very important. I think it's very important to be happy with yourself, happy with who you are, and not to reach a point in life where you just think, I'm a total piece of shit, waste of space, or worse, worse than that. In all the ways that people can be worse, that people can be monstrous. I think people have the impression maybe that monstrous people are all over the place, or everywhere, but they're not really. I don't know. It's all kind of blown out of proportion in their minds. Or, I don't know, general misanthropy, hatred of humanity. That's something I really dislike, actually. I really dislike this kind of misanthropic attitude towards what humans do. I think it's a way of veiling ignorance, with something like misanthropy, which seems informed or it seems intelligent. I don't care for it personally. I think we do incredible things, staggering things all the time. We do terrible things as well, obviously, but I mean, it's a way of estimating our political history in regard to our science history and our history of science, technology, engineering, and maths. And we made huge leaps forwards. Amazing progress has been made. Even in the last 100 years or so, and certainly since the Industrial Revolution, and we've been making amazing strides towards, well, probably not total understanding of the universe, but is understanding about as much about the universe and nature as I think we possibly could, dare I say. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of the conflict, isn't it, now in physics with theories of everything and, what have you, string theory and quantum gravity models and speculations and conjecture and whatnot. And all kind of bubbling around in a big seething mass. I don't know. The big thing I want to do at the moment as an engineer is to begin building rockets to try and get to space. I want to send myself into space, which comes across, I think, as an unusual ambition to most people. And I don't know, I think the time's right for it, though. I think the time's right for citizen astronauts to become a thing, for space to become a sphere for civil space aviation or space piloting. I don't know. And yeah, that private business interests up there more, and start really doing it. Start really going for the colonization of space. Because we're not competing with anything out there, either living or, well, nothing living out there in the rest of the solar system, it seems. There's no obvious signs of life on Venus or Mars. And there's water in the Martian soil, which indicates there may have been life there at some point. Possibly. But, yeah, I think we should colonize it. I think we should colonize the rest of the solar system, terraform Mars, all this great stuff. And I think I've developed plans on how to do that. So I don't know how to monetize that sort of thing also, and start acquiring the funding necessary to do the things I want to do, like this fusion reactor in space and so on, which is taking up a lot of my attention at the moment. And how to get it all into space. You have to itemize everything and demonstrate your expertise in the subject and budget it all. I reckon it could be done for $10 billion US, that experiment. I reckon it costs the same as a James Webb Space Telescope. That's my suspicion about it. So. Jesus, I might have to make this a half-hour episode. So yeah, in addition to rocket building and various other things, I'm also a farmer. And hope I'm going to be doing that job again in the future or sometime soon. Got one lady who I went to a job interview with the other day. Maybe. Her farm looked really good as well. It looked like they run a really tight on her farm. And yeah, cows look awesome. Looks like an awesome place to work. Really want the job. But yeah, I've got a lot of things in life I need to balance, I think. There's rockets building stuff and farming. Farming's good though because it earns money. It does earn me money. And not having to pay accommodation fees, which is what you get on dairy farms and dairy farm work, which is what I do. You can save a lot of money that way. So that's very useful if I want to build rockets now, isn't it? I'm thinking, do I just shelve the rockets idea for like 1 or 2 years? I don't know. Never get around to it. I do want to farm again. I do want to learn more about farming and dairy farming and become a better herds person and become the best herds person that I can be and all this stuff. I'm the best farmer I can be. And yeah, just do that. It is a great life. It's a nice life in the countryside. And I love it. But maybe it's somewhat disconnected. Then again, it isn't, because the internet is how everyone connects these days, isn't it? We'll do 20 minutes. I really can't go on for much longer. I'm running out of things to talk about. Yeah, so other than a physicist and cosmologist and engineer, I'm a stand-up comic. I'm a writer of poetry, fiction, non-fiction, journalism, essays, whatever you'd like to call them. I've been doing that for several years, in addition to other things, or in addition to business ventures, really. That's, yeah, who I am, and farming. Which has been very hard. It's very hard to start a career as a writer and be a farmer at the same time. I managed it, or I tried to. I did it, you know. I was a redraft my book or one of my books on a dairy farm when I was working there full time. You just got to be disciplined. And farming actually is a great way of rationing your time. It teaches you that skill, very much so. And it's put me in the mindset of the sort of person who always wants to work and wants to work constantly. And, you know, it's the work element, I think, really that factors into a lot of people's success. And I feel successful. I feel like I've done lots of things in life which, you know, haven't been failures. I don't think so much. Well, I mean, in things like stand-up comedy, I have succeeded. I've succeeded in making rooms full of people laugh, which is what you need to do as a comedian. And that's all you need to do. And in that sense, being a comic is the easiest job in the world. Although, like, as anyone who's ever done stand-up comedy will tell you, it's just not the easiest job in the world. It is very difficult, is what it is. You know, because audiences are as likely to keep laughing as they are to stop laughing. And, you know, they'll turn on you or you'll turn on them, which can be humorous sometimes. It can not be. It seems like you're aping Stuart Lee a lot of the time when you do it. If you do it, which I try not to. I like picking on people in the audience, though. That's a lot of fun. And, you know, like trying to explore their life and who they are. You know, they're very interesting, a lot of them. All adorable, obviously. Sweet looking. Innocent human flesh from the audience. Yeah, just meat, aren't they? Walking meat. But yeah, we're all meat being shoveled into a grave. There we go. Stupidly bad. What am I doing now? I forget. I'm doing this podcast. What do I want to say? It's nearly a 20-minute mark. Should I go for another 10 minutes? You know, no one's listening to it and no one's watching it. I'm tempted to. Tired. Always tired these days. Being homeless is hard. It's very hard. You're totally exposed to the elements, life. It's like hanging on for dear life in the world. But I'm happy still. I'm happy quite a lot of the time. I'm quite a happy person. And that's a good thing, I think. Yeah, I'm comfortable in myself. I'm still introverted. I'm still geeky. But I sort of understand the parameters of that now. Just a way of intellectualizing it, obviously. Uh, yeah. This is just vanity. That's another thing I worry about. Am I just doing these videos out of vanity? Or really I'm trying to popularize my cause, whatever that is. If you like, the projects that I want to put into action. So please help me with that if you can. That'd be awfully nice of you. Stream.